hope you're doing well. I just finished illustrating this little ballerina and I kind of just played around with the posture a little bit, and because I moved her so much to the side, I decided to add a little bit of botanical illustration right here and set the scene. So, for example, if you are a person who loves to journal, you could use this type of a illustration or posture and then do your writing on this side. I mean, this would apply to any of them because they're kind of narrow, they don't take up too much space, especially around the body. So you could treat it like that, or otherwise, if you want to add a little bit more of a mood to the picture, then I will show you what to do. So for the illustration, I used purely Tombow markers, and there is a separate kind of like a tutorial where I sort of showed you how to use them. I believe I did. So anyhow, same thing, but today I'm going to also add a bit of oomph and a bit of kind of color, because I went for light colors in the ballerina to make things nice and soft and gentle and kind of feminine, but I'm going to add some color, and I have a variety here that I picked out. These are the selection from the new 100 set of the Derwent Inktense Pencils, and the 28 colors are new. There should be a video, like an unboxing video on my channel. If not yet, then it's coming very soon. So the colors that I picked out that are from the new colors, they are the Persian red, pink flamingo, lime green, and olivine, I'm not sure. But the other two are apple green and light olive, which were part already of the 72 colors. So 4 of these are new, and then I might use all of them, I might not. How to set a scene. Basically, I have used the moving doll to create this little ballerina right here. And then there's also FOTD set that you can use in conjunction, so you could swap the eyes. If you're not very good at drawing your own eyebrow, there is a set of 4 eyebrows, including the Frida eyebrow, the monobrow, and there's different lips here. So this really helps you to pick and choose whatever face of the day you're going for. Now you also can use like a little tattoo and some lashes and some individual lashes down here as well. There's also a bun included and a different face shape, so this can easily be used in place of this face. Roughly they're the same kind of space, just this one is more wider and rounder and this one is taller and more narrow, but roughly it's the same space of the face. It works well. I'm not sure if I have any examples right to hand. There might be some other sketchbooks to show you, but it does work. So these are all available on my new online shop, and you will find it on my website alyonacreates.com. What I'm going to use for the illustration here, purely because I'm not in the mood right now to do off by hand drawing, I usually go for my stamp sets. The Botanical stamp set has lovely 22 individual kind of elements that you can build with, similarly to the FOTD and moving doll stamp sets. I think I'm going to create like a water lily here and make it look like she raised her leg to do a little twirl or something around the lily. So that's the idea. So I'm going to use a couple of bits, which is this one here, and then I'm also going to use a few petals as well. So you can create hibiscus flower, you can create a water lily, you can create all sorts of different greenery, berries. Yeah, there's different berries here. So 1, 2, 3, and then there's 2 other sets, so 5 sets of berries. There's the center of the flowers, so loads of different things. Just as an example, if you're new, this is sort of like a cluster you can create, which are also great for your journaling. So I will start. Now the idea here is I want the flower to be roughly, so let's lay some sort of level here, and I will show you where I want the lily to go. So roughly where her leg is. If I put the flower higher up, it will kind of look a little bit strange because the flower is quite big. So it will be hard to say that, for example, the flower has been in the background, or it will be hard to interpret, and the ballerina is in the foreground. I literally want it to look like she's dancing around it, so it should be on the level. To do that, roughly speaking, I mean, there is no art police here, so you do you, but I have a number of different petals. So my idea is to put the large petals on each side, and then the smaller petals that I will use in this illustration, I will put at the bottom. So I'm just going to roughly measure the distance here. So for example, this is where I will want to stamp it, and then I will work around it. I'm going to stamp it off center because it just always looks better to start that way. I'm using a nude ink. This is Tim Holtz Distress Ink in Tattered Rose. Always nude inks with my style of stamping because I don't want it to look like craft. I want it to look like art, like it's been drawn by hand. Okay, so the petal has gone in. Now, I'm going to, before I stamp it in the ink, I'm going to roughly look where I want the center to be. Do I want it to be here? I still could do it. Or do I want it to be like more this way? I think I want it to be around here, like so. So I'm going to stamp it here. Okay, so that's all done. All I need to do now is to fill the bottom leaves, and then the large leaves will go like that. So it kind of looks like it's laying flat. If you're interested, these acrylic blocks, this one is not available anymore. It was sold out a long time ago, back when I had my Etsy shop. But I still have these round ones, and they're also available on Alyona Creates. So I've got this petal, and this petal can go either way, this way or that way. This petal is better to this side, so I think I'll keep it here, and then I'll put this one right here. That's the shape. You could also swap it around and put it here, but I like to use more elements. Why not? I mean, they're here to be used. And then I'm going to use this petal on the other side, like so. There we go. And now a bit of this area needs to be filled in, but I don't want there to be an equal number of petals because it always looks a bit weird. So I'm going to repeat this petal again, and I'm going to add this one, but kind of layer it, or I could add it here. I could do one like so. Okay, so when it comes to layering, I think I will layer this one. So what I will do is I will turn it upside down to change the shape slightly so it doesn't look exactly identical. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to wipe off the area where I'm going to layer it so that it looks like it's behind. And then I'm going to go into this leaf and again you can just rotate them how you want them to look, roughly speaking like that. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, I want to fill the gap here. That would be 6, and then maybe a 7th here. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to use the same petal, just rotate it like that. And then use this petal, maybe bringing it slightly more out and wiping the corner off. Like so. So it kind of looks a bit more livelier. And to be honest, I think I'm going to use again the same petal, just the very corner of it, and just add it right here, like that. Just to make it look like the petals are coming from the back. I mean, you could even go as far as do that on this side as well. It kind of looks pretty. I might do another one. Just the very tip of it. That's it. Okay. At this point, because there's so many petals now, I wouldn't count to make sure it's equal or not equal. It's sort of, it looks nice and organic to me. Again, you can swap the edges if you don't want the same tip pointing out. You can use different tips from the other elements, and that would be absolutely fine as well. Today I'm just doing it like that. So once the flower is stamped, I'm just going to look at it, and I'm quite liking the shape of it, and I think the scene that we're creating swan like a bit of inspiration here, so hence the water lily. Okay, I'm going to now line things out, and generally I'm thinking, so I will be lining them out, and I think what I'm going to do for the outlining, I will use a really fine liner rather than a fountain pen that I usually like to use with the illustrations. So I'm going to line things out, and I will see you in a second. So I just wanted to quickly show you, if you can see the lines, I haven't followed them exactly as they are stamped, and the reason being is it would look a little bit odd, because then you would have these sort of gaps between the petal and the head of the water lily. So what I did is I ignored those lines and just continued with the line going up to the bud or the head, and basically that makes it look more natural and it makes more sense. The other thing I have done is just to change up the corners here. You can still do it as an afterthought just by creating a little detail right at the tip of it, and again they don't look identical anymore, although these are three the same. So you can do that afterwards as well, just adding a little mark here or there, just to make it look slightly different, even though you use the same element. But like I said, if I wasn't too lazy today, I could have used this one here, the other one, flipping them around, and that then doubles each corner and makes it 6 instead of a 3, for example. So you have a lot of versatility there and a lot of different things. You can also use these, which are leaves, but you can use them as petals as well, and just be creative and think of different ways of doing it. Okay, so now to the fun part, which is adding a bit of color. So I think I'm going to start with my Tombows as a wash, and then adding a little bit of detail with the Inktense Derwents, just to intensify maybe the edges, so that I still have light petal. I don't want the petal to be too strong, but then I want the lovely green kind of almost glow of the flower. So I'm just going to create a little bit of marks right at the tip of the petals, and now I'm going to use just a wet brush with clean water. Just make sure it's not a dirty water that you have sitting, and just softening the lines. This pigment here won't travel too far, so it's a very light one. Generally when you're using a darker Tombow, then you could pull out the pigment a lot further, like this color here. But with the lighter colors. You're just looking for a softer edge, and that's it. So that's now lovely and kind of light. And what I could do here as well is just intensify it right near the bud, just to darken it up, adding a little bit of a shade, like as if the shade is caused by the bud. So, and then we just pull out this color slightly, so we don't have just completely white, but we're kind of maintaining the highlight throughout the center of the petal. So at this point I can't go any further. I need to let it dry completely. Use a heat gun if you have, like a heat tool, or just wait naturally. So now at this point I think I'm going to do the green part first, and then trying to balance the colors, we'll add the pink or the red, whichever way. I think the pink probably would be a better color here. The red would be a bit too much, and it kind of would go nicely with her tutu. So yeah, I think that would be a great color. So I'm going to keep within that pink, but let's start now with the green. So this is a lovely chartreuse. So I'm going to go into the top, kind of wiggling the pencil around the black dots, but it's not essential. Add a little bit of water and it just comes alive. It's very pretty. I am also going to, oh, actually they have a lovely new yellow color which I am absolutely in love with. When I say they, I mean Derwent, and that's the Inktense Golden Sun. It's literally like nickel acer yellow in a pencil form. And the fantastic thing is that they are water soluble. So Golden Sun is this one here. So the Golden Sun, I'm going to add, doesn't look like much when it's in dry form, but wait until I add the water to it. So watch this now. Wow, it's so vibrant. And this color you can really pull out nicely. So I'm going to leave it like that and set immediately so that the color doesn't keep on moving into that. It's not like watercolor, it wouldn't just shoot through, but still, if you like the look of it, it's better to set it than change over time. Also, just to keep the color going, I will add little swatches here. And also this one here. So the chartreuse didn't come out here as I wanted it, so I think I might just go over if that's going to help at all. Let's see if that helps. It looked like I had some other color in the brush previously. Okay, in terms of green, now this is going to be a little bit difficult to judge, so I'm going to go ahead and do a little swatch color test here. So we've got kind of like a juicy green. Oh yeah, this is beautiful. And then we have the olivine, which is the new color, more tamed. And then we're going to have this light olive, which is also very beautiful. Okay, so I'm going to start with the darkest on the side. So right here. And I do need to have a super sharp point for this illustration. So what I'm doing is just adding a bit of this color, the darkest one, right in the center, and I'm also going to hit the line here, also right in the bottom. So kind of think that way. Where do you want it to be the darkest? And then I'm going to take this olivine and kind of blend it right next, right, like so. And then the lightest, the juiciest, will be the third color. And then I'm gonna leave like a highlight and see what I can pull out. Maybe also blend it through here, like so. And let's see what we get. So we want the brush to be wet, but not super wet, so that you don't end up creating mess. You want the pigments to melt together, like so. They're blending really beautifully. And then right in the middle, I'm just making sure my brush is nice and clean, and I am maintaining this highlight right there. So color wise, we don't have too much kitsch kind of super bright acidic green going on, but we do have it nice and juicy and zesty, and basically exactly what we wanted to achieve. And I'm going to set it quickly so I keep my highlight right there. So to bring a little bit of balance, when we can look at her skirt, you can see it's slightly darker than the flowers, so we just need to bring that here. And I'm going to use the pencil to do that with, and I'm going to again make sure I have a really sharp point for that. Like so, and just the very, very tip. Because with the water, I will soften things and blend things out. Just make sure it's not a straight line, just wiggle your pencil. Like so. Same here and here. Okay, and then also I'm going to go around the flower in like circular motion this time, and add a little bit of this darker color, like so. Okay. It is a really pretty, pretty pink. So at this point, you might want to kind of revisit your illustration and see if you want to pull things out a little bit more into the center of the illustration, and that way get a bit more color intensity throughout the petal, like so. And I think she looks lovely dancing around the flower. So now things are completely dry, so I can give you a nice close-up. And let's start with the girl. And the flower. If you really wanted to, you could then also add a little bit of shade on one side of the lily. So for instance, if you have highlight coming through here, what I would do is just add a little extra kind of, just a bit. I mean, it really doesn't need that much, but it does help to change an illustration from a beginner to a little bit more kind of like you know what you're doing. And you can go ahead and do a bit more of that darkening if you wanted to, but every time you do that, make sure you dry your page fully and then layer again. So that is it for today. I hope you enjoyed this little botanical number with the cute little ballerina. All right, I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.